Hello, and welcome to the second virtual Superfriend celebration. I know you're all excited. I'm excited. And I hope there are lots of you out there in the audience. We've been hyping this thing for months, and we've got some really great guests in the green room waiting to say hello to you. So we'll give our spiel for the Actors Fund at the end of this panel, of course. And that's really why we're here, is to benefit this great charity, but also to have fun. And it's obviously been a really rough over a year now. And we're all looking to celebrate fandom and just have a fun weekend. So have fun with it, y'all. I'm going to bring in Steve, our panel moderator, and he's going to introduce himself. So let's just exit this solo layout and give Steve the forum. So hello, Steve.
Hey there. My name is Steve Fisher, and I am helping to work out this weekend with the Superfriend celebration. And welcome to the Diedrich Bader Q&A interview panel. We're going to talk with him, and we're going to learn some of the stuff that he does, that he has done, some of his craft. And I know a lot of you are probably interested, because we are super friends. You're interested in learning about Batman, the Brave and the Bold, and some of his other animated projects and stuff. But he's done a lot more than just voiceovers and animation. He has done lots of television. He's done movies. There's a lot to learn about this guy. So we're going to go in and we're going to talk and we're going to have a good time. And so I'm going to bring him in right now. Let's see. All right. Here he is. And hi there, Diedrich. How are you?
Hey, how are you?
Good. I'm very happy to get to talk to you. And for those of you watching the stream, we have some other super friends that are here. Kristen and her sidekick Lauren are on screen watching as well. And apparently they have a
the Drew Carey
Cleveland Rocks bobblehead.
Nice.
With Drew Carey.
Love it.
So I guess we'll get into the Q&A session. So I am a huge fan of yours, and I like every time I see you, I have to watch, because it's just everything I've seen you in, I've loved.
Oh,
and I would like to know, first of all, how did you get started in the business, and what made you want to become an entertainer?
So I got started because I was on vacation in Santa Fe, New Mexico with my parents, and we went to a dinner party, and I met a casting director who was casting a pilot for a pilot as the first episode of a prospective series for ABC. And it's a Western called Long Arm. And she was a local casting director, so she was only in charge of smaller parts. But she read me for this local cast part, which was the young gunslinger. And I read it, and she said, okay, that was really funny. And I said, well, thank you very much.
Yeah.
The problem was it's not a comedic part. So I'd like to read you for the comedic part of the goofy deputy, but it's supposed to be cast out of Hollywood, New York. So I went on tape for it, and then met the executive producers later. And when they came to Santa Fe, I was still on vacation, and then I got cast, and my parents went home, and I stayed and shot a Western, which was really fun. I dressed up like a cowboy and rode a horse, and yeah, I mean, I was kind of entranced immediately. It was fun hanging out with the other actors and writing, doing all this stuff. I've never done another Western, which I would ultimately love to do. But so, yeah, that's how I got started.
Had you ever ridden a horse before this?
Yes, I had ridden a horse before, but not Western. And it's pretty different. So I had to figure out how to do that pretty quickly. Because at one point I had to ride down the middle of the street and shoot people off the roofs, and there were explosions happening left and right, and it was really fun. I had a great time.
Excellent. And I know, if I'm not mistaken, I think that when you were a child, you lived in France.
That's right. That's right. That was my inspiration to be an actor, with Charlie Chaplin, and I used to go to silent movies when I was really little, and I worked up a Charlie Chaplin act. And one day, at a screening of one of my favorite theaters, because there was a live accompanist, the film got caught and burned, and I jumped in between the audience and the screen, and I did my Charlie Chaplin act, and the organ player played, and that was kind of it. I got a standing ovation. It was probably the only one I'll ever get, but it was fun.
Great. That is awesome. And I think I remember hearing at some point that you, while you had the bug for entertainment, screen wasn't really something you were looking for.
No, I was going to be a stage actor. Yeah. I mean, I've done plays subsequently, but I was really going to dedicate myself to it, and I really was not interested in doing the screen, even though that was my inspiration when I was a kid. It was something that I was not interested in doing. I was going to a school of the arts in North Carolina, and they were really focused on the stage. And I was all in. I enjoyed doing Chekhov and Shakespeare and all the classics, and yeah, that's what I was planning on doing. But then I got cast in this pilot, and I was Screen Actors Guild by default. And so I decided to go with the union that I was in. But my really talented guy who was my roommate was having a hard time in New York, and I thought, I mean, if he doesn't succeed at this, I don't know if I can.
Yeah.
So I decided to go with the union that I got in.
Okay. That sounds good. That's fun. And did you have any specific genre of stage acting you wanted to do? Like, were you going to concentrate Shakespearean, or just anything that came your way? Or,
I mean, my dream was to get into the Oregon Shakespeare Festival and just be one of their actors, and never leave Oregon. That was kind of my dream.
Ah, yes. And when did you realize that? I mean, you had been in the Western. When do you think you realized that this was it? That you had been on the screen and you actually had made it, and like people who walked down the street saw you and were like, I know you.
I guess the first time I was recognized was for a Bud Light commercial, Bud Light, something like that. And
Okay.
I think that was the first time I was recognized, and that was fun. Because it's lovely. People just say nice things. If they don't like you, generally they don't say anything. And then the Hillbillies hit, and then did okay. I mean, it wasn't a huge hit, but it did all right. And some people really loved it, and so I started getting recognized there. And but I didn't get any movie roles after the Hillbillies. Like, I was disappointed. I thought I would be a movie star, but I just didn't get any parts.
Yeah.
So I went back to television. I had done a series with Penelope Spheris. She was the one who cast me in as Jethro. And then I went back to television and did the Drew Carey Show. And then I realized I was really happy doing television. Like, especially the live audience stuff is really fun, especially once you're on air and people love the show. The audiences come, and it's a big event. And it's really genuinely fun.
Well, see, that's something that I think when I hear about filming before a live studio audience, because so many people talk about television shows and the canned laughter, and I think that, for a lot of the stuff, you're in front of a studio audience, and it's live for you right there in the moment. And so you can play off of how, like, when your character first walks in for the first scene of a particular episode, you can tell everyone's cheering because they see Oswald walk in. They're like, "Yay!"
Yeah, that's why it's fun.
Yeah.
The first year was tough because the crowd didn't really know the show. We hadn't really, especially before we made air. That it was difficult to get a crowd. You have to pay them to come, and some of them aren't paying much attention and
Yeah.
they don't want to be there, which is understandable. I mean, it's like it's their Tuesday night or whatever. But
Sure.
but then once you're on air, then they're really happy to be there and they just love it. And I loved working with in front of a crowd because it just brought out all kinds of things, and you could play with timing and. Working with Ryan Stiles, Ryan loved to improvise. So, especially with the Lewis and Oswald scenes, I didn't know how they would go because I knew Ryan was gonna mess with me somehow because he always did. And I was very, very lucky to be with somebody so incredibly talented for the amount of time that I was partnered with him.
Yeah, I can see that. I mean, having seen him many times on Whose Line Is It Anyway, I can see where you would wonder when he walks in,
what's going to happen?
Yeah.
Yeah, guaranteed it's not going to be what we rehearsed. But
yeah. And you had talked about doing Beverly Hillbillies and how some people really like it and have latched onto it, and some people are just like, this isn't what I remember watching on TV. And you played two characters in it, did you not?
Yes, Jethro and Jethreen. And Jethreen and Max played very differently than myself. I really went and tried to play as much as I could a young woman, and trying to be funny. But I wasn't trying to say, "Hey, is a guy in a dress?" Because I thought, and also
Max
was looped by Paul Henning's daughter, the executive producer's daughter. So I didn't want to do the guy in the dress joke as because it's not that funny really. There's a guy, he's in a dress. So I thought it was funny to bring out the femininity of Jethreen and try to make her a sort of Southern belle. I mean, some people like it, some people don't. So there you go.
Do you have any interesting stories from your time on set with the Beverly Hillbillies that you can remember? Or?
Oh, sure. Yeah, that was a great set. I mean, Jim Varney was incredibly nice to work with. Cloris Leachman was truly hilarious. Dabney Coleman has the best timing I've ever been around in my entire career to this day. Lily Tomlin was delightful to work with and a real professional and really, really focused. She was delightful. Like the second she showed up on set, she was just so had planned out things and had she was really good. I really liked working with Lily. She was great. And I've seen her subsequently, and she's just a really lovely person. I mean, I guess the funniest Jethreen story is that we went to wig fitting for Jethreen to do to get Jethreen's wig. And they said, so do you have an idea of how you want Veronica Lake to look? I'm sorry, God, I screwed up my own story because I read a question over there. How do you want Jethreen to look? And I said Veronica Lake without even thinking about it. Apparently I've been thinking about it in my subconscious and I didn't really know. But when asked, I was like, Veronica Lake. And why somebody my size would want to be Veronica Lake? Because she was like 5'1" or something, just tiny. I want to answer this question that somebody asked. That is my mom's piece. Let me see how do I do this backwards. Right there. No, right there. That is a portrait of a guy in the neighborhood where her studio was. Nice guy. He used to sweep the sidewalks. He was a retired acrobat. And my mom just loved his face, and so she hired him as a model, and I inherited it, and it's one of my favorite pieces of hers. To answer that question.
Very nice. And so, talking about movies, when you talk about, let's say, cult favorites, two of the most cult classic movies in existence are Napoleon Dynamite and Office Space. And those are movies I think that anyone, walking down the street can quote and say things. And I just think that, if someone were to say, if you were talking about Diedrich Bader, sometimes they might say, well, who? And then
Yeah. Oh, no, I get that a lot. It's not a very recognizable name, and a lot of people recognize my enormous face, but they're not sure why. But yeah, those are two huge cult movies, definitely.
Yeah. So if you mentioned the name and Rex Kwon Do, or watch your cornhole, bud, then
Sure.
everyone will be like, oh yes.
Yeah.
And those are movies that so like Office Space didn't do very well at all in the theater.
That's right. It bombed. It was a huge
I-
bomb. Actually, my wife and I went opening weekend, and there was only one other guy in the theater, and then he left. So we were it, and that's why I didn't see it for 10 years until the 10th anniversary in Austin. I was really crushed by it because I loved the movie so much, and I was like, I have no taste, or at least my taste isn't in sync with American taste, because that's really what I loved it. And I loved what I was seeing on the screen, but it was an epic bomb. Huge. I guess Fox didn't know how to market it. That was part of the problem. There was a question I want to answer. Sorry to interrupt.
Yeah.
The mustache of Lawrence was a fake mustache that they put on. I wanted to look like an Allman Brother. The Allman Brothers, like on the double album. Inside, I wanted to disappear in that picture when I was a kid and just be one of those hippies. So I really wanted to have that type of mustache. And then Mike's idea was to have the mullet. So the Lawrence's mullet was Mike's idea, and I had to put it on the day before. So I would fly in. I was actually shooting another picture in Dallas, and I would fly in the day before, and they would put the mullet in, and then I would go to bed with my mullet, and then go in the morning. Yeah.
Well, I will say you do have good taste, because that is a fantastic movie.
Oh, thank you.
And it's a movie that I can watch over and over again, never get tired of it. At my full-time job at work, I have a red swing line stapler, and I have a copy of the memo thumbtacked up to my cubicle wall, because that movie is just, it's so great. And so, yeah,
a lot of people associate with it. That's one of the great things about comedy.
Yeah, I know. So many people I've talked to that have seen it said that it is so relatable on so many different levels.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, it's great that way. Anybody who works in an office can associate with it. Mike obviously worked in an office and took a lot from that experience. Mm-hmm. I think the cast was uniformly amazing. Stephen Root he's incredible in that.
Yes, he is so good.
Yeah.
So you've done TV. You did Drew Carey for a number of years, and you've done in some. I will be honest. In some of my research coming up for this interview, I looked up on IMDb to see some of the other stuff you've done, and I'm like, American Housewife. Let me give that a try. I love it.
Oh, how nice! Thanks.
So funny. I hadn't seen it, and I didn't know much about it, and I watched it, and I'm like, now I'm gonna watch all through, because it's just such a good show. And so everyone out there, American Housewife, check it out, ABC. Yeah,
it's also on Hulu. We recently got canceled, which is a little bit sad. But we are being replaced by a show with Dule Hill and Don Cheadle, and it's going to be great, and people are going to love it, and it's going to be the revamping of the Wonder Years. I think it's going to be excellent. But I'm very proud of the work that I did on American Housewife. I loved working with the crew and the cast and the writers. It was a great experience for me.
Good. And so,
thanks, Tom.
Voiceover.
Yeah.
That is something that, a lot of people who recognize you might not realize that's something that you do a lot of, that you lend your voice to a lot of different things. Where did you first get, what made you first get into voiceover? So
Jamie Thomason, one of the great voiceover directors and casting directors at Disney cast me in Gargoyles as a Scottish something or other. I was a bad guy. I can't remember now.
Okay.
I just gotten back from Scotland, and so my Scottish accent was pretty on point. I mean, I'm sure if you're from Great Britain, you probably have issues with it, but it sounded okay. And I really enjoyed the work. I'm easy to work with, I think. So Jamie continued to hire me for other projects that he was working on. And once you get into that world, it's a very cloistered world. You just start meeting all the casting directors and working with everybody. And it's really, really fun. It's the closest to playing I have experienced in show business, because it's like you're a little kid and you get to do whatever you want. You're not restricted by the fact that, I look like whatever I look like. I can be anything. So it's really cool that way. I totally enjoy it.
Well, that's interesting. You can the character can look like anything. When you come to do a voice, how is it that you prepare for a specific voice? Because I'm sure you get the script well ahead of time. You've read through it several times. And where does the voice come from?
Well, it's interesting that you say that. Yeah, I mean, you have to read it and prepare, but you also can't be too locked in because the producers and the casting director, dialogue director will want some input. So you shouldn't get too locked in on your performance. You got to be open to direction, in other words. So you may have one idea, but it's a little like improv in that you may have like, we're going to be in a stuck elevator. You walk up and somebody goes, "Hey, coach," and you're like, "Oh, I guess I'm in coach now." So you have to be willing to go with it. I had a question there that I want to answer.
Sure.
What was it like to work with Scooby-Doo? I have done it a number of times, and working with Scooby was really great. Scooby is voiced by the amazingly talented Frank Welker, and the first time I worked on Scooby-Doo, I also worked with Casey Kasem. So that was a pleasure.
Wow. Yeah.
Because I had grown up listening to him, and Frank, of course, too, but I'd grown up listening to Casey Kasem on the radio as well. So I was a little overwhelmed by the moment, and I started sounding like Casey. And they were like, "Diedrich, you got to stop sounding like," yeah. And I was like, but working with Frank is always a pleasure. The first time I worked with Frank Welker was on Hercules, and he played a donkey, and it was one of my favorite experiences I've had in show business, because he really sounded like a donkey. I know that doesn't sound like much, but we can all make donkey sounds.
Yeah.
Yeah, whatever. That's my audition for donkey.
Excellent.
But thanks. But Frank actually sounded like a donkey. So he's amazing. He and D. Bradley Baker do most of the creature sounds here in Hollywood, and they're both really remarkable. So anyway, I hope that answers your question. What it's like to work with Scooby.
Yeah, and that's good. I mean, I'm always I'm a Scooby fan too. So and regarding the animated stuff, what do you find are like some of the major differences, other than the fact that you're animated and you're not animated, between doing animation and live action?
Well, first of all, a movie is a very slow process. I mean, people don't really know this, but every scene has different setups for different shots. Most of the time, you'll do over 30 takes for every setup. So you can only do, maybe a page and a half a day, 2 pages tops. So movies are really, really slow. So people always ask me, like, why don't you do more movies? I'm like, why don't you go do movies? Because it's really boring. I like doing television because it moves really fast, especially, of course, in front of an audience, because you're doing it like a play.
Yeah.
And also, it's largely in town, and I like being around my wife I'm happy to be married, and she's cool. And so I don't like to leave town so much. But and then animation, of course. If you read it together as a cast, it's really fun because especially in Warner Brothers stuff, you sit in a semicircle and you all record together, and that's really great. Disney stuff you do by yourself, which in of itself is kind of fun too, because you get to do 3 different takes of everything and not bore everybody. And I think I did 5 Phineas and Ferbs. No, 3 Phineas and Ferbs in 10 minutes. So you can pay it out pretty quickly.
Wow.
Yeah.
And you did the Phineas and Ferb movie, and one of the questions that I had from Lauren was, what was it like being in the Phineas and Ferb movie?
Well, it's great to work with Swampy and Dan anytime I can. They're both incredibly talented people. My family, we watched every episode of Phineas and Ferb. So I actually at Comic-Con was their moderator for their panel.
Okay, wow.
Because I was able to filter out those that were fans and not fans because I'd seen every episode. So yeah, for me as a fan and as an actor, it was a great experience all the way around.
So when you are doing voiceover acting, of course, like we established before, you've read the script multiple times, but you're in the studio, you have the script in front of you. Can you maybe talk a little bit about the difference in craft between reading the script and having a script memorized when you're doing live action? And how do you go about learning your lines in doing like live action TV in movies?
Sure. One of the great things about being on a multicam, which is what the Drew Carey show was that you rehearse all week. So by the time you get to shooting, the lines, a lot of them change because you do a run through every day for the writers, and then they look at the script and they decide what works and doesn't work and change it. But the majority of the time, your lines are the same. So you've been rehearsing all week, you perform them a number of times. By the time you hit the stage in front of the audience, you're pretty good to go. When you're on a television show that shoots a single camera, like American Housewife, for example, you've only had them for a couple days, sometimes the day before. On Veep, sometimes they would just hand us the script on the morning that we were shooting.
Wow.
And that's what we would shoot. So it's difficult to know your lines that fast. Some people are good at it. I'm okay at it.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a lot of work to memorize lines. It's a lot of work. For movies, you get the lines way in advance, months. But because you have to say them hundreds and hundreds of times, sometimes you've said them so much that they sound like gobbledygook, and by the time they turn around to they English. So for animation, because you as you say, you've read the script before, but you haven't really heard it. Well, I guess you can practice at home. Anyway, it's new. You're discovering it. It's cool. You have to keep an open mind, as I said, and so you have to just let it flow a little bit. It's very cool. The fact that you don't have to memorize lines means that you're able to really dig in very easily.
Mm-hmm.
Because you just look at the content and its meaning and go from there. What's interesting about voiceover acting is that you have to put more into it than you would, especially for movies. Movies, you have to do as little as possible. For animation, you have to do more than you really think you should because you're not on screen. So your voice needs to tell the story and a half. There's lots of on-camera actors I've worked with who are great on-camera actors, but once they get in front of a microphone, they do what would work on camera, but it's not enough for voiceover. You need to turn it up to 11. Otherwise it's flat.
Nice Spinal Tap reference, by the way. So,
thanks for catching it.
Yes, well, one of the animated shows that you did that a lot of people love is Batman Brave and the Bold.
Yeah, great part. Best part ever.
And I will say that I love the voice. I love the plots. I love the fact that it was something in which they tried to throw a superhero in all the time that maybe didn't get something a certain superhero you haven't seen before on TV. They're like, we're going to take a DC character that's not, someone that relatively many people know, and we're going to put them in the show, and they're going to help.
Also the supervillains. I was really happy with the supervillains that they were able to draw from deep in the lexicon, not always the rogues gallery, which is the standard Batman trope, which is totally fine. Of course, everybody loves the Joker, but really reaching in and finding obscure characters was one of the great joys of the show, and getting all these actors to come in and portray characters that people hadn't heard of. So they were able, I should say, to put their own stamp on it. I mean, pretty much the Joker has in animation since Mark been played like Mark. I mean, even Alan, who's fantastic, is doing a little bit of Mark.
Yeah.
And Jeff Bennett, who played it for us, is doing Mark a little bit too. I mean, he's like the template, which I totally get. Kevin, of course, was the touchstone for me in my Batman. Not that I sounded a lot like him, but it was certainly something that I kept in mind.
Oh, sure.
He's the greatest Batman ever, and so yeah, I mean, that's something that you keep in mind. But yeah, I loved how they reached deep in the lexicon. That has a lot to do with the showrunners, James Tucker and Michael Jelinek, who are both really talented, great guys who know their stuff and really want to be in that world. And they're really cool.
Yeah. How did you get the part for Batman? I mean, did somebody reach out to you? Did you see that, through casting that there was a part coming up for Batman, or?
Well, I read for it. Andrea Romano, one of the most famous casting directors in animation here in Los Angeles, and I worked together on a show which ran a while. I can't remember how many seasons we did, called the Zeta Project, which was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed it. It was during the height of the Drew Carey Show, so we would record on Wednesday. I would do Tuesday nights. I would do the Drew Carey Show, and Wednesday morning I would do Zeta Project, and I really loved it. It was the first time I was a regular on an animated show.
Okay.
And, Andrea and I are friends to this day, and she's just the best. But anyway, she brought me in for Batman, and I was a little surprised because I was more of a comedy guy, but they wanted a lighter tone. So I read for it, and Tucker was in, and then they sold it to Warner Brothers. We got some flack when we went to Comic-Con years ago before the show aired. They were worried that somebody that did comedy would not honor their version of Batman. But I think for real fans of Batman, they realized that it kind of harkened back to, the Adam West, and that there are all types of Batman.
Well, there are. And I remember that was a lot of the criticism before Michael Keaton, before his movie came out. People were saying Mr. Mom is Batman, and they didn't want to believe it. And then they watched it and they said, this is great. And I do like that The Brave and the Bold has a lot of seriousness, but it does have a lot of comedy. I loved that Aquaman loved to tell stories about these great adventures that he had with whomever, because
John DiMaggio, that's one of the great voice performances, in my opinion, ever. I think, who would win a fight, Batman or Rex Kwando? Batman, come on. It would be an interesting fight, though. I don't know if it lasts long. But anyway, watching John DiMaggio come up with that Aquaman character, because he had one idea, and as I said, you have to keep it open. So once he started working with Andrea and Tucker, he can't. It was like magic. So he had one thing, and then he drifted around it a little bit, and then he hit on it, and everybody in the room went like that, because it was such an original creation, such a beautiful thing. And it felt like it was always there, and that John discovered it, and we were all lucky enough to see it. I want to answer this question. My favorite part of becoming the persona of Batman was that Batman has the greatest backstory of any character you could possibly want. So all you have to do is remember his incredibly tragic story and his ability to take tragedy and make it something of an opportunity to become something better than himself. And he's a beautiful cat.
Yeah, he is. And I will say, you know, there were some moments when you would watch the show and you would say, this is really serious. When Batman meets Joe Chill. And this series has been out for quite a while, so no spoilers. I mean, spoilers will have long passed, but for those that don't know, Joe Chill is the man that killed Thomas and Martha Wayne. And Batman finally is told who he is, finally meets him, and confronts him. And that scene was extremely powerful and extremely, I just felt like you don't know at that moment if Batman is going to kill him or not.
Yeah.
And Batman pulls off his mask and says, I'm Bruce Wayne, and then proceeds to beat the crap out of the guy. And I just, what was it like, you know, filming that scene?
Well, you are clearly a fan of the show because that's one of our best episodes, and also for me, I talked about going to North Carolina School of the Arts, the art school that I went to prepare. Yeah. My mentor there was a guy named Yuri Belov, who had directed in Russia. He was Stanislavski technique, really lovely guy, and he had this expression called crossing over. He's like, you got to make sure that you cross over. And the crossing over is when you have left yourself and you have become the character, so you're really thinking like that person. And there is an odd moment when you realize you've crossed over, when something happened and you had a thought that was an original thought, and it was as this person and not as yourself. And it happens a lot when you do it on stage because you have to do it so many times. You do it over and over and over again and in front of an audience. So you have to discover it every time. And then sometimes thoughts, memories occur to you that didn't happen to you. And it's like, oh, I've crossed over. That episode, in that particular scene, I crossed over. And it was so powerful for me that I did a very un-Batman-like thing. I started to cry because it was so intense to actually be confronting the killer of my parents, and know that this thing that this guy did made me everything I am, and that I am able in this one moment to tell him that was a really. It's great writing, but it was a great opportunity for me. And in a voiceover session, as I said in Warner Brothers, like everybody's there, and I was like, because I had crossed over. I was really feeling what Batman was feeling at that point. Yeah, or Bruce, however you want to put it. I'm going to answer this question about being Batman on Harley Quinn as opposed to Batman Brave and Bold. The comedic style is very different. So Batman Brave and the Bold was a lighter touch, more ironic. Harley Quinn is darker, so it's more sort of digging into the darkness of it, and really bringing out how Batman is the kind of grown up in the room. He mentors and cares about Harley Quinn. I know that's strange to say, but he really does. He sees her as somebody capable of redemption. Joker, not so much. So that's kind of like the difference. Does that make any sense?
Yes, that makes sense. Someone asks, what version of the Batmobile do you prefer?
Brave and the Bold. That's the best. That's the best. Yeah.
Excellent. Have you ever, when doing voiceovers for a specific show, had in your head a voice that you thought was perfect, and you went in and they said no?
No, I don't think so. Because I'm so open to direction that I've never thought anything is perfect, and I've never gotten locked in or been like shocked that they wanted in a different direction. That doesn't apply to on-camera stuff. There have been some on-camera stuff where I thought it was one way. I got an offer and just showed up, and I really thought that it should be one way, and they totally disagreed. So that has happened, because with on-camera stuff, you have to be more prepared. You don't know what is going to happen. So a lot of times, you as an actor, you're not as open as you are when you're working with animation.
Okay. And let's see. Wrote some notes down.
Okay.
Do you have?
That was Kevin.
I know. Oh, that was Kevin. Okay.
Yeah. Sorry, I was answering the question.
No. I understand. No, I saw the question. It's good.
Yeah.
Do you have a favorite episode of Brave and Bold, or do you like? I mean, The Chill of Night is considered by many to be the best, if not one of the best, if not the best episode. But is there any episode that?
Yeah, I mean, I like anything with John in it, I mean, any of the Aquaman ones are great for me. The Chill of the Night, of course, is a classic. In my opinion, I really love that one. The last one is a particular favorite. With Batmite. Yeah, I just like that speech at the end. It's really beautiful. Yeah, there's a number of them. I think some of them are kind of mind-blowingly cool. I'm trying to remember the one he's not Two-Face. He's like Equinox or something. I can't remember. He's got like two sides of him, and he works for some sort of time gods or something. Does anybody remember that?
I don't remember.
Yeah, I don't remember either, but I like those. I thought the plots were really good for those. I'm sorry, I can't remember. It was a while ago.
So you've done more DC. You played Lex Luthor.
Yeah.
In Red Sun.
That's cool.
And I just think the aspect of voice acting is so fun, because you get to have fun, you get to play, you get to do stuff that you don't do when you're on screen, and you get to and like you said, with the table reads, it's got to be fun. It's got to be very fun to just sit around and have everyone do their part. And
oh, it's a blast. It's an incredibly fun world, and the voiceover world is so talented. It is talent based, and sometimes for on-camera world, like, people have a certain look, and that tells a lot of the story. But that doesn't mean that they're great. It just means they look like the person. When you think of the part, they look like that person. So sometimes you're restricted by that. Like a lot of really pretty people are not great actors. So it's not as fun to work with them, because it's not really acting. You're sort of just running lines and trying to get the story told as fast as possible, really. But in the voiceover world, you work with somebody like Ray Delisle or Tom Kinney or Kevin Michael Richardson or Diedrich Bader, as I brought up earlier, Frank Welker, John, Will Friedle. There's just so many talented people. It's just, and when they get started, you're like, wow, look what you can do. So I love that aspect of it. It's very fun for me. I truly enjoy it.
Good. We have another question from Lauren.
Okay.
She wants to know what it was like working on Buzz Lightyear of Star Command.
Oh, that was fun. Playing Dark Matter. I was working with Bob and Mark, who also did Hercules, and they also did. Well, they did Penguins. We just finished Big Hero 6 together, and we did one other show together, which I'm not remembering. Monsters versus Aliens together. So I've worked with Bob and Mark a lot. Working on oh my God, which one were we talking about?
Buzz Lightyear.
Right. Yeah, so Buzz Lightyear was really fun. Warp was a great character. I got to improvise a lot, which is fun for me.
Sure.
I kind of have Tourette's on that, so like I just blurt out jokes anyway. I'm kind of sort of irritating to everybody, I'm sure, but it is fun to do. You know, Pat Warburton was the lead in the series, but then Tim did the movie version, and then Tim had to replace Pat's dialogue because Pat originally they animated to Pat and then Patrick, I'm sorry, and then yeah, Tim had to loop it, and I heard that was quite the sessions. Those were quite the sessions.
And one other question from Lauren was that do you have any funny stories from working on Tangled?
On Tangled. Oh yeah. No, I loved working on that show. Really fun. Sean and I went in together, and he and I almost made up pretty much everything. That was rare because usually I just do like, you know, things here or there. But in that one, Sean and I just sort of winged it, and then they would animate to it. We would ask like what is supposed to happen, and then we really just made everything up. That was really fun. Like we did one and got in the show where I was like, I come back with lunch, and I'm like, he goes, "What are you eating?" I'm like, "Quiche." He goes, "Why didn't you get me quiche?" And we did this whole thing. But yeah, I mean, you know, it was fun. And Sean is great, like a really lovely guy, and so that was super fun. And of course, you know, it's got the music and Zach, and it's cool. Yeah, it's fun. That was a fun show. Really, really great executive producer on that, Chris. Yeah, lovely guy.
Good. Do you have anything coming up that you want to tell us about? Any projects on the horizon, or?
Well, but we're doing more Harlequin, and yeah, Sean is a darling. We're doing more Harlequin. I'm sorry, I signed some NDAs.
Oh, that's fine.
I remember which are the NDAs,
yeah.
and which are the ones that I'm allowed to talk about.
Sure.
It's kind of this balancing act in my head. They make you sign so many NDAs these days.
Yeah, for those who don't know, that'd be a non-disclosure agreement, meaning that he can't talk about the show, you know, or he'd have to kill you. I mean,
yeah,
not so much.
Yeah, you could get fired. It's possible. I mean, the chances of it are pretty slim, probably, but it's like they really want to roll it out the way they want to roll it out. And
yeah.
So I have 3 projects where I've signed NDAs.
Okay.
But I am doing on camera. I'm doing another Space Force, so I'm happy about that. I'm going to be doing some more better things in animation. Right, those are the NDAs.
Okay.
So yeah, that's what I could talk about. Sorry. Once they have this. Oh wait, the one I can talk about. Originally, I signed an NDA for, but now I can talk about is now I have to remember it. He-Man, Masters of the Universe. Yeah, right. Kristen, thank you. I'm sorry, sweet of you. Yeah, so that was fun getting to work with Kevin again. Kevin Smith. I'm sorry, all these various Kevins. Kevin Conroy is actually on the show too. But anyway, can I disclose that? Yes, that's disclosed. So working with Kevin Smith is really awesome. He's the nicest guy in the whole wide world. He really loved the show when he was a kid. So his place comes from real love and not like, let's make fun of this camp classic kind of thing. For me, my brother and I watched the show like daily. And so when I got the part, the first person I told, not my wife, was my brother.
Yeah.
I told my brother. And, oh, thanks, Jen. So, yeah, that's really cool. I saw a bit of it What's today? Friday? Is today Friday? So Wednesday. I saw a bit of it on Wednesday, and it looks really good. Really, really, really good. In keeping with the style, but upgrading it a little bit. And so I think anybody who's a fan of the show, the original show, is going to really love it. And those that haven't seen it, they don't need to see it. It can stand alone. But anyway, yeah, I'm super excited about that. I think that's on Netflix. I may be wrong. But
yes, no, it is. I saw the trailer for it, and it is a Netflix.
Cool.
Yes. Now.
Right. Space Ghost. That was cool. Sorry.
No, that's okay. Apart from acting, you are also a very avid gardener. Are you not?
Yes.
Anyone who likes anything about flowers needs to go check out this man's Instagram.
Oh.
It is at Bader Diedrich on Instagram, and it is filled with nothing but beauty and flowers. And can you talk a little bit about how you feel, what flowers and plants and gardening does for you?
So it's my hobby and a great love of mine. I genuinely enjoy working in the garden. So when you go to the Insta, I'm trying to create a place where you can meditate and be at peace. I know that sounds kind of hokey, but the garden gives me peace, and I love it. It gives you a great sense of the capability of beauty and nature and our influence in it, because it's all been kind of bred by us. But it's a beautiful thing. It gives me a lot of joy. In my career, I get rejected a lot, and thanks, Phoenix. I get rejected a lot. It's just part of it, and I would kind of drink it over, which wasn't really getting anybody anywhere. It just made me bitter and just sort of ruminated on that. But what I discovered in the garden is that I go out in the garden and I accept the fact that I was rejected. I let it go in and just sit in it for a little bit. Then I look at the garden and I realize, I need some work to do over here. There's a little bit of work to do over there. And then I get to work, and about half hour in, I totally forgot, and I'm just working on the garden, and I really genuinely enjoy it. So I hope that when people go to the Insta and they look at the flowers, that they get the sense of peace that I get from being in the garden. That's my hope.
I think they will. I mean, I went today just so I could get what your Instagram the handle was, so I could send people there. Again, it's Bader Diedrich, just his name backwards, at Bader Diedrich. And when you go, it just immediately it pops out at you, and you get a sense that it's just it's very relaxing, and it's a place that you just want to be, because I can understand when things go wrong, when things go bad, when you don't get a part that you wanted, or if you happen to be in a lockdown for an entire year and just want some place to go to unwind, and there it is.
Yeah, that's exactly right. It was great during the lockdown to be able to go and work in my garden and spend some more time with my flowers. Also, when my mother died, I have a lot of her pieces in my garden, so I was able to see her and be with her and accept the nature of life. So I have a question from Jen H. Can I answer it?
Yes.
Okay. I would love to work with Wes Anderson, and I would love to work with Bill Murray. I would really love to work with Bill Murray.
Oh, that would be fun, I think.
I think it would just be fun. I'd love to just be a supporting character and just watch him work. I think that would be a really great thing. I worship him. So that would be really cool for me. I'm just being sincere. I guess I could have come up with something cooler, but Gardening Eats Gangs. All right, I'll look for it. Thanks, Dave. Yeah, so that's the answer.
Nice. Let me see if there's anything else. I know that we are approaching the end of this interview. So is there anything that hasn't been brought up that you would like to talk about? Anything you'd like to say? Any?
No, I hope that everyone realizes that what we've all gone through was a terrible, really terrible thing. And I just want to say personally that for me to be given the opportunity to try to entertain all of you during this time was the greatest honor of my life. And I'm very appreciative for that opportunity. I think people that were able to entertain during war or other moments of fantastic strife, this great tumult and tragedy, you realize why people want comedy, and I'm grateful for the opportunity to do what I could to entertain you during this time, and I hope that I have in some way brought you peace, and yeah, bless you.
Yes. I think I don't have any more questions at the moment.
Cool.
So I don't know.
I got to sit at my barbecue anyway. I'm doing a barbecue this afternoon, so I got to set it up.
Well, very cool.
Yeah.
I would just, I guess, hold on just a second. I guess I'll just say thanks for doing this, for being here, for answering the questions, and
my pleasure. Thanks for contributing to the Actors Fund. It's a great charity, and I really appreciate it.
Yes, and that's important, and we want everyone to know that we're having a sweepstakes this weekend, and you contribute to the Actors Fund or share links to the contributions to the Actors Fund on your Facebook or in any of your social media, and you can be, there are prizes that you can win, and it's very important, and it helps people out from actors on down through everyone that works in the entertainment industry, and it's very much something that everyone should be aware of and should help. And I would say again, thanks for being here. Thank
Steve,
you.
Thanks. Everybody. Steve, this is his first time that he's done an interview with an actor type like myself, and I think he did a fabulous job. Welcome to the world. You were great.
Thank you. Thank you.
I really appreciated all your questions and the research that you did, because it seemed to come from a genuine place. And I really appreciate that. Yeah.
Yeah, I just want to, one of the last thing I want to say is thank you very much for saying yes to Mike Judge and being in one of my favorite movies of all time, which is awesome. And I guess, does Kelly want to come on now? Is there, do you have like the video you need to play, or?
Hey, Kelly, you changed outfits. You're muted.
You're muted, Kelly.
I did. This is goes with the next panel. Thank you so much, Diedrich.
Oh yeah, my pleasure, Cal.
I highly enjoyed this. You were wonderful.
Oh, awesome. Thanks.
Such a wonderful way. But yes, I do have a video. Thanks. Kevin's in our private chat. So really appreciate seeing you. And
say hello to George for me.
I will. I
Thanks.
get to interview him, and I'm going to be Lois Lane, because of course, who else gets to interview Superman but Lois Lane? So
naturally,
should I have dressed as Robin?
Yeah,
might have been a little creepy. But...
no, Steve, I think you should have dressed as Supergirl.
I have before.
Yeah,
I have before.
You have before.
I cosplayed as Supergirl at Metropolis, Illinois, and it was, everyone loved it.
Yeah, of course. They wouldn't tell you otherwise.
It was fantastic.
When I saw you, I was like, I wonder if he's ever dressed as Supergirl. That's what I was like.
Well,
you knew. He's got that look.
I didn't want to bring it up because I didn't want to, whatever. But I was like,
I blamed it on the red kryptonite. I had a red kryptonite prop, and that red kryptonite is what caused me to get manly features and to have a lower voice.
Yeah.
and everyone loved it.
Because Red Kryptonite does whatever the fuck.
You do you, buddy. Whatever works. Whatever works. All right. Anyway, thanks, guys.
Yes,
Thank you,
you very
Diedrich.
much.
You were absolutely lovely.
Thanks.
Have a good night.
Bye, everybody.
Bye. And Steve, thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, everyone, I am going to play our little video spiel. Actually, before I do that, I want to thank all the podcasts that have made this weekend happen. Like, we have a lot of podcasting friends who are on our committee. So, and we also have a lot of podcasters who helped get the word out. So, thank you to all these wonderful podcasts. All right, and now...
This convention is also a fundraiser for the Actors Fund. The Actors Fund fosters stability and resiliency and provides a safety net for performing arts and entertainment professionals over their lifespan. You can support the Actors Fund by following the link below and donating. Every donation also enters you into our sweepstakes and gives you a chance to win these fantastic prizes.
All right, so welcome everyone. You're about to enter the Toshigawa universe. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. If not, I am sorry, Wades and Kevin. I am about to bring on our indie comic creators who are just fantastic. So, first of all, welcome Mr. Kevin Williams.
Hello,
Hey there,
how
Kevin.
are you?
Good, how are you doing?
Doing well, thank you. It's a nice rainy day in Memphis today, so doing something indoors will be a lot of fun.
That's good. Yeah, it's raining up here too, weirdly.
Well,
and welcome,
that happens,
Martheus.
I guess.
Yeah.
Man, Kevin looks all professional, man. I look like a buster.
Go get changed real quick. You got a minute.
I mean,
Man,
you can't. I can drop you out of the stream if you need to get changed.
No, I'm fine. It doesn't get any better than this. This is it. This is it for me.
I know you told me that to talk to Janet, but I'm bringing her in because I love her.
Man.
The world seems to.
She is great. Welcome, Janet.
Hey, am I muted? Can
Nope.
you hear me?
You,
I can hear you.
are all good. So welcome, you three. Thank you for agreeing
Thank
to do
you.
this. I really appreciate it.
I like your outfit. I should have dressed up too.
Thank
but I
you. Thank you. I had this lying around for my review. So
Yeah.
Just lying around.
just lying around. Just a ninja outfit.
This old thing?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
This breathes a little better than the Batgirl outfit I was wearing at the beginning of Diedrich's panel.
Gotcha.
All
Definitely.
right. So
Well, thanks for having us on. We're excited.
Yeah.
I'm excited too. Also, it's
Mhm.
not often that I get approval on my cosplay from the creators of the character I'm cosplaying. So I'm kind of nerding out right now. So thank you. All right. So let's start with you all introducing yourselves for anyone who may not be familiar with you and your work. Who wants to go first? Or are we going to have a fight in our hands?
Kevin,
Martheus, go ahead.
Kevin, you go first.
We're going to have a fight
Janet,
in our hands.
you go ahead,
Okay.
Janet.
Janet, you
What?
go first.
Okay, so I'm the CEO of MAW
So my name is
Productions.
Kevin Williams, and I'm the.
Wow.
Oh, go ahead.
I have the power to mute you all. I can mute you all and make you take turns.
Mhm. Anton?
Janet, you were going.
Yeah, go
Okay,
ahead, Janet. I
Janet-
just had to do some.
Janet, you go first.
Okay,
Ladies first.
mute them just in case. Hey, I'm Janet Wade. I am part of MAW Productions. Let's see, I'm co-creator and inker and digital colorist for our Shinobi Ninja Princess comic books, as well as other titles that we get to work on if people commission us. Anton?
Oh, me? It's
Anton's
my
in the dining
turn.
room.
Wow.
Stop playing with
Wow.
whatever that is. Pay attention.
It's a thing.
It's a thing.
It's a thing.
All right, but okay, so
It's a thing.
All right,
Oh, I need to get a
Is
thing
that
too. Then.
Anakin I'm hearing in the background?
that's actually that might be actually me because I'm on the other side of the.
Oh, okay. I'm hearing an echo. Okay, because
Yeah.
I'm like,
Oh,
Anakin
it
does
might-
not sound like a grown up.
No,
That was freaking me
I
out.
told her to leave me alone. She couldn't
Man,
stay
are
in the
you
same
gonna-
room as me.
Kick me out
Okay.
of here too.
No. Okay. So, all right.
Do you see him?
How you going? Okay. Well, let's order in the court. You messing up stuff. All right. So, my name is Martheus Wade.
People are checking out of this little room.
Hey, people love to watch Jerry Springer, so this is about to become Jerry Springer.
I know, right?
We are professionals.
My name is Martheus Wade. I created Shinobi Ninja Princess. I do the illustration on it. I've worked on some stuff for some companies, some comic book companies, for IDW, for some things for Image and things like that. Just a couple of one-off books and things. My big thing is I've been doing my own book for like a lot of years. It started out with Jetta Tales of Toshigawa. It started out with actually me and Kevin, and then Janet. I met Janet in creative writing class, and then Janet came into the story, and then so it's been us three for forever. We've been doing stuff since over 20 years now. So it's culminated what's the word? It's gotten all together, brought together until to Shinobi Ninja Princess. And what's that?
Culminated.
Yeah, culminated. I couldn't think.
That's why I'm the editor.
I love the big pencil.
Right. So thank you for the red pen there. But yeah, so we've been, like I said, we've been doing it for over 20 years, and everything came together for Shinobi Ninja Princess, which is our all over our all ages.
Is that the word
story.
culminate?
It culminated, Janet.
Culminated.
You're late.
Golly, man. See that? I'm gonna fire them.
That's fair.
And then I'm Kevin Williams. I'm the editor for MAW Productions and have been editing since, I guess, since design class in college when Martheus Wade and I sat across the table from each other, grabbed his book and started writing away.
Yeah, I
Exciting,
agree.
isn't it?
You guys make a really great team. Like So my first encounter with your work was, I just remember going to Superman Celebration in 2008 and seeing a Jetta
I said
ad.
culminate.
Like-
I said that. I said it. Uh-oh.
And I just remember being hooked
Oh.
then, and then obviously just kind of admiring you guys from afar for a while in Artist Alley, like a creep, before I finally added you on social media and started chatting with you and fangirling over you. So,
What year was that again?
I'm sorry to let you down on the fangirling part, because we're not very star like people. It's just like we're very nerds. It's very nerdy people.
We're very nerds.
Very nerds. And good with words. And very good with words. I mean, that's the best part. Like,
Yeah.
But
what year did you say that was?
I think it was 2008.
2008. Okay.
It was a while ago, and that was like I think it was my first year, which would have been 2008, and so that was before I knew anyone, and like I was a little shy then, and that was when I was first like, wow, I have found my people. You mean there are other people like me who like comics and superheroes and dressing up, and you can dress up when it's not Halloween? Like, what is this magical utopia?
Yeah,
Superman Celebration is a lot of fun for sure, and you get a
Yeah.
chance to meet a lot of great people, a lot of great artists, and network and share ideas, and I like that about the place.
Oh, I like Kristen. The good with words nerd herd. Accurate. Accurate.
You know,
All right.
I actually think that Janet's video is like behind because she's like laughing to herself.
2008.
It
Yeah, you are lagging.
Lord.
no, her screen is freezing on my
Are you
computer
connected?
a little bit.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
she is freezing a bit.
Mine is just fine. It,
I think
things
what we're gonna do.
suggested
We're
that I
probably
move closer to the router. Here, how about this? Can I
Okay.
can I get
Yeah.
removed?
Or if you two need to just share a
we'll
screen
just share a screen.
I mean, I know
because
you don't like each other
it's
that much,
echoing
but
otherwise.
just pretend like you like each other for this one.
I don't even get a chair. What are they saying?
Here, you have this.
Okay, unplug your headset. I know I told you.
Okay, I'm back. Can you guys hear me?
What am I doing with
Yes.
this?
Yep.
Okay, that's
Here.
that's better.
There we go.
See, man, this is why we can't work
I
together.
wish you could see us. I'm kneeling and he's over here in a chair. And then he gives me this, like, here's this. What am I doing with this?
Hold it.
God.
Smile.
Oh, you two are adorable. I ship it.
Okay.
Hey, we're ready.
All right. So you kind of started to touch on this, but how did you all get into comics? So I'm going to start with Kevin while Janet and Martheus kind of sort yourselves out. Kevin, how did you get into comics?
You know, when I was a little kid, I loved drawing, and every once in a while on Instagram, I'll post up pictures from when I was a kid, and even a couple of early Amelie images are on there now too. But I just loved drawing as a kid, and big fan of Peanuts, and so when I created my characters around kind of the idea of what if, you know, the innocence of Peanuts and the irreverence of Muppets, and that's how I got to Amelie. And in college, which I guess I'm kind of jumping ahead a little bit here in our story. Well, I'll just back it up. Sorry. I'm driving all over the road here with this conversation. Anyways, I wrote out to the Peanuts offices and said that I wanted to do my own Snoopy cartoons, and they said, no, that's copyrighted. You're not allowed. So I said, okay, so I'll use these other things that I've created. And that was kind of the start for me. And then all the way up through college, I had published in the the International Society for Donkey and it was a long name, something about donkeys and mules, a couple of newspapers, high schools, newspapers, the college newspapers, until I got to the University of Memphis. And it was kind of a long, lonely road until design class, where Martheus sat across the table from me, and we saw each other's work and swapped portfolios and checked out what each other was working on. So I'll stop there because I think that leads into the next question.
Yes. Well, I was going to let Martheus and Janet talk about it. So you two can decide, now that you're sharing a screen, who wants to go first.
I go first.
Go first.
Because
you guys.
Something's happened to your sound.
Okay.
Yeah.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh my gosh, man. Our tech just to clarify, our technical issues, we live in this dead zone of things where things just happen. Like our Wi-Fi, the rain will destroy Wi-Fi. We just had rain, so a lot of stuff it's knocking out Wi-Fi. So what happened? I guess I got into comics when when I was little. I learned how to read basically off of comics. That was my first reading outlet, and then that led into, like, you know, novels, you know, Stephen King novels, short stories and things like that when I was little. I think the first thing that I actually read that was like long form that was actually that was not a comic, first off, was like Carrie, for Stephen King. And that probably what I don't agree. I don't think a kid should read that. You probably shouldn't do that. But
I was
so
watching Stephen King Stephen King movies as a 5th grader. And yeah, I agree.
It's not the safest thing to do. But I got into comics early on, and I always was had the intent of creating my own characters. So I started creating my own characters like in elementary school. And actually Jeddah was actually created in elementary school. So
wow.
Yeah, so I kept that character around for like forever, and different iterations and things like that of her every year. And then fast forward, like I said, like Kevin said, to college, I got into University of Memphis, and I was in design class. We were in two-dimensional design class, and Kevin was in two-dimensional design class, and we just clicked because we were making jokes about the teacher and stuff like that, and laughing and joking and stuff.
Okay, let's clarify. We didn't make jokes about the teacher. We couldn't understand what the heck was going on.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. We didn't understand.
That's the difference.
Yeah, we didn't understand what was exactly going on. So we were trying to be able to we were trying to be able to decipher what the directions were between the two of us. So he would get, like, Kevin would get some of the directions, and then I would get some of the directions, and then we would swap what we knew and be like, all right, that's a full project. Let's do that. Sometimes it'd be wrong. It'd be real wrong. Like, but that was it. And then we ended up, doing stuff like, we'd be like, hey man, like our classes were like 3 hours long. So we would like skip like the first hour and go get something to eat, and then come back in the second hour of the class and be like, okay, well, what is everybody doing? And figure out what we're doing, and then finish from there. So, fun stuff like that. And then, fast forward even there a little bit, like the summertime, I was taking a creative writing course, and then I ran into Janet in creative writing. So
nice.
See, look at that.
He knocked her books out of her hands and helped her pick them back up and everything when he ran into her. It was great.
Such a meet cute. And so Micah Riley, though actually she says it's Cliff asking, what did Jeddah look like then compared to now?
You don't want to know, man.
She was
she like a trucker. She like a straight up trucker.
She was a dense lady.
she was a trucker. Boy, it was 80s. It was 80s. She looked like
her hair was teased out. We'll probably have to send
man, I have to show it. I got the illustration somewhere around here.
I would love to see that.
Would I be out of line to say that she might have looked a little bit like China?
No.
She looked like China the wrestler.
She looked
like I can see that.
Mm-hmm.
I think that'll help.
But she had
China the trucker.
Hair. She had like fire red hair, and it was weird, man. It wasn't. I go back and I cringe at that. Like that's bad.
You have to start from somewhere.
I was gonna say. All right. So what about you, Janet?
Oh, well, let's see. I grew up in Japan, and on an Air Force base. But I remember my first encounter with comics was before I could read. Is it called Little Abner? Mm-hmm. The comic where it's the big country dude who's being chased by the two thirsty girls. Mm-hmm. I didn't know what was going on. I just knew these girls really liked this dumb country dude, and they were always chasing him. It was that, and then it was like a Scrooge McDuck comic. Those were the only two comics I remember, and I couldn't read a word of any of it. But like I guess growing up in Japan. Hold on, our son's trying to distract us. Okay, growing up in Japan, they had like cartoons, anime, just like whenever, because that's just like a natural form of entertainment to them.
Right.
So I was exposed early to like this really cool animation with like probably a little bit more mature, serious storylines. Even though I still couldn't understand what they were saying because it was in Japanese, it was on the Japanese stations. so that kind of like got me interested in like action-packed stuff, animation wise, and it was my dream to actually be like work in animation, except I found out early on I can't draw consistently. So that's something you kind of need to do if you're going to animate, because you got to draw the same thing over and over again.
Right.
So I was much better with one-shot things, like comics. So in high school, I got into like the X-Men comics, and like in college was when I was taking a creative writing class during the summer, just to like knock out that credit. And Mr. Wade was in it as well, and he was such an art nerd. He had his big old portfolio, his big comic book pages.
I was the coolest dude in the class, man.
He was
I wasn't
always drawing.
I wasn't an art nerd. I was the coolest dude. I was like, I used to come in and have my shades on, because after.
Well,
I did.
We know you were cool if you had shades on, obviously.
No, I was just kidding. I was a nerd.
Outside.
Most of the time when I came in, I was coming in from work, so I was sweating and stuff, and it wasn't,
Yeah, and it was the Memphis summer.
Yeah, so I was coming from work or either getting ready to go to work, so I had my work outfit on.
Yeah.
It wasn't good. That's why I had my portfolio with me, because I was going to take it to work and draw. Anyway.
So thank you for interrupting. No more.
I'm sorry, my bad.
I'm not done.
Go ahead.
So
why your story longer than mine?
It's not. I'm wrapping it up. Okay, so in class, I'm seeing him draw, like before we have to like actually start getting into class and reading our stories and stuff. And I'm looking over and I'm like, oh, it's an art nerd. I like art. Hey, it's kind of like comics. I like comics. And I just kind of said, the only thing I remember saying was, oh, no, this is so stupid. Don't ever say this to artists. I said, did you draw those?
Oh,
while he's drawing them. I was like, nah. He's like, yeah, I drew them.
There's this ghost that sit behind me like a stand, and he just kind of draws stuff.
And I was like, oh, that's good. And then that was it. That was the extent of our conversation. And then he said later on, this is like years later, he said he liked how I put stories together, which is why the last day of class, he chased me across the train tracks. So
she always tell this story. I did not chase her, dude.
Stop helping me. University of Memphis was across some train tracks, and the parking was across it. So I was crossing the train tracks, and I hear someone go, "Hey, hey!"
This is the reason why I want her on
and I
the
turned around and I said,
she
"What?"
tells stories. I ain't say that.
And
I didn't
it's
say
him.
It.
And I'm like, "Oh my God, what?" And he said, "I like the way you write stories."
Oh.
I like the way you write stories. You know, I draw comics. You want to write stories with me? And that's how we.
And it was the beginning of a beautiful friendship.
You want to come outside and play?
For one, she made me sound like I'm a stalker, and I'm not a stalker. And then two, I didn't say, you want to write stories with me? I told her the story. I said, hey, I was like, it's me and my friend Kevin, and we do comics. We write comics.
I didn't know who Kevin was. He could have been lying.
Or Kevin could have been a weirdo.
Kevin, I'm glad you're real.
Could have been. Could have been. I'm the guy with a giant pencil here. Come on.
As Micah said, and she brought all her stuff to your apartment. The end. And they lived happily ever after.
That's actually for real a true story.
I started moving my shoes in first.
That's a true story. She moved all, I had my own bachelor apartment. And I was like, oh yeah, man, this is awesome. And then all of a sudden she brought stuff over and it just stayed. And I was like, wait, what are you doing? Why are you bringing that stuff?
And now we have
I'll tell you the real story later.
But I didn't complain. I didn't complain because she had a good computer. She had the best computer at the time. My computer sucked, right? So she brought her computer over and it stayed. I was like, okay, well, you can bring some shoes as long as you keep your computer. So I kept the computer and I was doing like some awesome stuff on there because she had the new Photoshop on there and everything.
Nice.
My computer couldn't run Photoshop. My computer was like it would get hot.
Old, yeah.
Yeah, it would get really hot if I tried to run Photoshop on it.
Like a Nintendo.
Like a Nintendo. I had to blow it and put a fan up to the side of it.
All right, so single ladies, invest in a good computer. That's how you catch yourself a man.
Man, that computer, I was like, that computer got me. I was like, let me.
He proposed to the computer first.
Actually, yes, I did. I did.
That checks out.
The computer's still upstairs. It's still upstairs. I'm still gonna use that computer. I'm telling you. It still works.
It was one of the very first Macs with the super big monitor that was on that weird swivel.
The colorful monitor.
I had to get that away to Goodwill last year. I tried to sell it, but no one wanted it. So like, just take it away. It's like a monster.
But the CPU is still upstairs.
Yeah.
I'm still. That's gonna stay.
Forever till death do you part.
Forever. It'll be. Anakin's gonna be gone. He's gonna be graduated and going to college, and it's still gonna be here.
He'll probably do some homework on it. I don't know.
He might do some homework on it. That's the new computer. That's his new computer.
Oh my God. I love that. All right. So what are you working on now?
Well, you can tell him if you want to tell him.
Spoilers.
Oh, can I?
Wait a minute. What you gonna tell him first?
What were we working on last year? And this year you got some new stuff on your iPad. What
are you working on? Oh yeah. You can tell him. You can tell him that. I thought you were talking about something else. You can tell him that.
What? We're continuing our Shinobi Ninja Princess stories.
Yeah.
Yay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is our third story arc, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the first two story arcs. Hold on. Let me get this. The first two story arcs are collected in this handy dandy book. The first story arc it kind of like introduces the characters and young Jetta and her friends. Her name is actually Shiandria. She hasn't like stepped into the Jetta role. So she's like, it's all about her growing up as a young teenage girl in a ninja clan and navigating all the stressful things that come about being a teenage girl, like, or just a teenager or a young person in general, like self-esteem and self-confidence and bullying and things like that, but also being under attack by rival ninja clans and trying to stay hidden from her father, who is the emperor of Japan. And
just normal teenage stuff.
Yeah. Right. Also, there's like monsters and weird magic and things like that, but in ninja martial arts and things. So
Yeah, we got the first two volumes are collected in hardcover, which is like it's through Amazon now. You might be able to actually get it in the in your library as well. You might be able to check it out.
Yeah.
But it's in it's at Amazon. It's actually on our site too, on Toshigawa Universe store as well. And then we started the third volume that we're working on now. We started with a Christmas story. So we did a Christmas story. And then
that was my idea, because I was like, you remember when like back in the day our cartoons would have like a holiday special?
Yeah, like He-Man and She-Ra.
I love holiday specials.
Yeah, I love those. Like with He-Man and She-Ra would have a Christmas story.
Put aside your differences with your enemy and just enjoy the holidays.
Yeah, so we wanted to have one of those because I really love like one of the things that Shinobi Ninja Princess is a love letter to is like 80s cartoons and 80s I don't even want to say 80s cartoon. It's really like anime and manga, but cartoons,
cool shows for kids.
But cool shows that kids could actually be able to sit there, read, look at on TV,
like,
with a bowl of cereal.
We pulled a lot from our own likes for like from the 80s, like we mentioned He-Man and She-Ra, and then later on we got into Avatar: The Last Airbender.
Heavy.
Yeah, just stuff like kids would enjoy, like all ages, not just little kids, but things they would enjoy watching with like and it like kind of reflects their relationship with their friends and things like that, like Teen Titans.
Yep.
And so it's a love letter. It's a love letter to that. So we wanted to be able to. That's what the Christmas Story was based around. Was that, and then so we kicked off the third volume with that Christmas Story, and then we have issues 1 and 2, and we're working on issue 3 of the Dark Tournament episodes. So
like I didn't realize how busy we were last year during the quarantine, but we put out 2 books.
Yeah.
And we didn't really
tell anyone.
Yeah, we didn't promote it too much. We didn't
There's
say
kind
much
of a
about
reason, but like if you are interested, just
give
contact
us. Yeah, because
we have them.
We've got them, and we don't have like big multitudes of it. It's not like going through Diamond, because if you guys notice, the comic book industry has been in a real big decline because of big changes in the comic book industry, and it's like reverberating throughout the entire entertainment industry as well. If you guys can see, like,
if y'all have been paying attention to how everything is now at home.
Yeah, and like a lot
direct to the person.
Yeah, a lot of companies are like consolidating. They're selling off shares. DC and Marvel have if you looked, a lot of books from DC and from Marvel Comics has been outsourced to IDW. Their kids line. DC and Marvel, both of them have left Diamond distributors as well. So big changes are sweeping. So it's hard to be able to keep it, what I mean. During this time, everyone has had to change. So and we've just changed along with it, but we've continued to keep going and keep growing and things like that. So I'm excited about this.
We didn't change too much, though.
We didn't change too much.
Because from the beginning, we've always published our books ourselves, and
we just kind of went back to doing
every
that.
now and then, like a publisher would pick us up and help us distribute.
Yeah.
But it was mostly us doing the work.
We were still doing the work. We were still doing the reading. Kevin was the creating.
Publishing.
Kevin was still doing the editing, and we were doing the promoting. Yeah. I mean, it's still been us no matter what phase. Like even the books that went to Scholastic, because we had some Shinobi Ninja Princess books that were in Scholastic books.
Yeah,
and
which is awesome.
Yeah, it which was really cool, right? But even those were still just done by us. It was still the same crew. You know what I mean? We were still doing the same stuff, and I don't know. I believe in like when you have friends and you have a crew and you have people that's gonna stick by you, you keep them around you for the rest of your life. You know what I mean? So
for the rest of your life,
except for Janet. I'm just keeping the computer. The computer
is here
for the rest of my life.
I'm not going anywhere.
I think you're stuck with her.
Kevin's gonna be here for the rest of my life.
We sealed it in blood.
This went to a dark place real quick.
She has. That was scary, Janet. Don't do that. Don't do it.
But
yeah, and it's fun that we're able to say that not only are we really good friends, we're basically like a family also, but outside of all of that we continuously are able to get together and work together and pull something out of the cosmos to create these really great stories for everybody. And I think that amongst the creative flow of all of us, that what we really like to do is tell a good story, show good art. One thing I've always enjoyed about our books is the fact that we get insight into the characters, not just a panel that says this character such and such. You get the emotion from who that character is out of their head and all of that, not just trying to guess who they are. You can learn more about them as if they were a real person. And And then also want to add just a little bit into what we said earlier. There is that it has been written so that kids can enjoy it and appreciate it, and it's safe for the kids, but it's written in a way that not just a small, not just a range of the kids, but also adults can read this and get something out of it too and enjoy it. It's for the broad range, and I think that really works well.
Yeah.
Ooh. Our pale Palpatine showed up. Hi, Palpatine.
Oh gosh, no. Hi, Palpatine.
I think we're in danger.
If the dark side has cookies, I'm there.
Same. Oh yeah, cookies? What?
I hear they have mojitos too, so sign me up.
Hey. Yeah, just cookies.
So I was gonna ask, what's your creative process like? Which you're already giving us a little bit of a view about how you work together because you're like a family, which that's really special. And
yeah, our creative process is real like loose, really tell you the truth, like especially this okay, so the perfect example would be this story that I'm working on now. All right, so a while ago I knew we were going to actually be working on the story arc, and like I had this story in my head about the Dark Tournament for like years, like ever since I was at University of Memphis, and I was like, I want to tell this story. I never had a chance to, and I never knew where to fit it because it wouldn't fit into like the Jedi Tales of the Toshigawa books because it was too lighthearted, and it was like I didn't know where to put it. And then we started Shinobi, and I was like, oh cool, it could go here. So I knew we were gonna do it. And then this last book, I was like, I always like to be able to include friends in guest spots and do things. And I was like, man, Kevin never wrote a story. Like he's always been the editor, but he never wrote a story. Yeah. So I was like, hey Kevin, man, you want to write this part of the story?
Isn't the one you're drawing right now?
Yeah, it's the one I'm drawing right now.
Where Andrea's mother and father meet.
Yeah. So it's spoilers, man.
I mean,
spoilers, dog. Okay, so
you know what? I think we just may as well forget the NDAs with Janet. Just don't have her sign anymore because it doesn't work anyway.
In a summer writing class.
No, they don't. Nope. No, but so Kevin
chased her across the train track.
So we talked about it. Like this is something we talked about. I didn't chase you across no train tracks. So this is something we had talked about for a while, like about how they met, what kind of relationship, what kind of relationship Jedda's Andrea's mother and father had, and I kind of drew it in the Jeddah books. I drew what happens, like the end result, the terrible stuff, but I never drew the good stuff, that how they met and how much in love they were and stuff like that. So so I was like, all right, well, me and Kevin talked about it, and I told him what was in my head, and then he wrote it, and then so now what I'm doing is, because the story passed, because of, there's a part in the story where he has to explain almost like the rules of this tournament that they're in. But the rules of the tournament changed as I was writing it, because when me and him talked about it, it was like early on. So the rules of the tournament changed. So now in his story, I have to go and kind of change how the tournament actually works. So now it's back on me to kind of like fine tune things and keep his initial story intact as we move forward in the fight scenes and stuff. But all the dialogue and everything in the fight scenes are going to be his. So so that's how we kind of work back and forth. And then Janet is taking that, and then she's putting the colors to it. And then it's after that, I'm gonna take it, put the letters to it, and then it goes back to Kevin, and Kevin gets to read it, and then he gets to put the final edit to it, and then we release it.
Just like that.
With the big old
pencil. The giant pencil.
All right. So I don't know who this comment is actually coming from, because a bunch of people have, or someone's on the admin account. But this person is saying U of M, you always run at the train tracks. We were before the walkover bridge.
That is kind of true.
Yeah.
They got a walkover bridge now because now, but
like 20 years later,
man, it'll be
suddenly students' lives are,
yeah,
important.
the train. I remember one time I'm walking down the train tracks and this dude was like, "Hey man, the train." And I turned around, the train is like right there on me. And I was like, "Oh snap!" It's seriously.
Yeah, you had to move quick.
You had to go, and the train always came at the right when kids are trying to get to class. So we all trying to get to class, and trains come in like they were just like
us all down.
like the train was like, yeah, let's get them.
Good luck, everybody.
Let's get them.
You paid tuition to get here.
I think that the trains were scheduled that way on purpose, actually.
Yeah, I think so. It was at the beginning and at the end of class.
Hey, to the Riley girls.
The Riley girls are excited to see you all on TV.
Aw. Hey.
Hi, Riley girls. I know you girls don't remember meeting me like years ago, but hi. I love the Riley family. So, kind of asked about this. So of the characters that you write, do any have theme songs?
Do they have theme songs?
Theme songs?
Oh man. Man, there's this one dude. He every time he comes on, every time I draw him, I think of Prince. Like he comes in, and it's just Prince.
It's like the music in his head.
The music in my head and in that character's head is always
but nobody
Prince.
else.
Nobody else. And we got in the tournament we actually have a ninja group that's based after the revolution, like Prince and the Revolution. Mm-hmm. So they look like they're really good ninjas though. So you can't take them like you can't slip up around them. But they look like Prince and the Revolution. So I'm a big Prince fan. I love Prince.
Me too.
But let's see. Sheandria loves like her best friend Megumi. I would say this. Her best friend Megumi, and
she's the little ninja in green.
The
she
ninja
got the
in
short
green.
Hair.
Yeah.
Yep.
She's always got headphones on, and in her headphones, she's always listening to Michael Jackson. That's like a behind the scenes thing. She's always listening to Michael Jackson. And she's always practicing like she practices her kunai throwing to Michael Jackson. So even though I don't put lyrics and stuff in there, what she's always listening to in her headphones. Sheandria, she likes video game music, like MIDI music, and she also likes because she plays video games a lot, but she plays fighting games a whole lot. So she's really good at like Street Fighter, Mortal Kombat, all that kind of stuff. And
nice.
There's a part where it's actually pretty cool. The part where in the Christmas story, there's a part where she and a fellow ninja, I'm not gonna say who it is, they go out and they go to
an arcade.
They go to an arcade because Christmas in Japan is a big date night, and they don't have dates necessarily, so they kind of meet up with each other just to hang out. And then, so they end up going to a video arcade, and Sheandria beats everybody in the video arcade playing this video game, which is really cool. Really cool to see. But yeah, that's the only
just normal teenage stuff.
Normal teenage stuff. They go out to get coffee. They go to eat. Go to the manga store. They go to the manga store, and they talk about which
would be the comic book store to us.
Yeah, events. They go to the Illuminations. And they talk about stuff that happens. You know what I mean? It's not anything that's like super heroic. Like they go throw somebody through a windshield or something like that. You know what I mean? It's just
right.
It's just everyday life. So but I think that's it. That's all that I know off the top of my head. Those are the three characters that come to mind that have
music,
music in their head, themes in their head. Yeah,
think about them.
Yeah.
So
And
what
then
about?
Micah just popped up a question and said, "What does Muley listen to?"
Yeah.
Depends on what he's doing. If it's just sitting around and drawing with his friends, it's going to be movie soundtracks more than likely. Just depends on what's happening.
That makes sense. Makes sense. All right.
Nice.
So of all your comics, if you could pick one to be made into a live action film or TV, which one would it be, and who would you choose to play the cast?
Man, that's tough.
So do we preface this with something from the past, or just
Anything.
do it? Just
Anything you've had, anything you've written, or do
Kevin,
you
you
need me
go
to narrow it
first.
down? Kevin, you go first.
Okay, that's hard.
Yeah, that's
well,
hard.
I'm since right now that we're working on Shinobi Ninja Princess, I'm really into any of these that we're doing. And of course, being that it's a series, it would have to be filmed as a series, so we would have to start with book 1 for that. The other part that I like about this is that it starts with the youthful part of Shiandria's life. So even as the characters, if it were a live action TV show, even as the characters age, it would make sense for what this story is until one day that series ends, and then we start with the next series of Tales of the Toshigawa.
That would be
and keep all the same characters, keep it consistent. I think that would be fun. As far as who would play the lead character,
No,
that's the tough part.
I don't have any idea. Dude, that's tough. That's tough because you would have to get an actress to start out young, but you have to be able to forecast exactly how their acting chops are going to be when they got older.
Yeah.
You'd have to be able to forecast that and make sure that they can also stay within the look of the character as well.
Right.
We don't want
and that's tough. You know what I mean?
we don't want Kim, for example, to start out as a kid and then grow up and look like this, because that's not how he should look. So you would have to pay close attention to that. So yeah, that's a good idea.
So we would have to see like pictures of the actors' parents.
And grandparents.
Maybe not. You're cute now, but hold on.
Yeah, it would have to be parents and grandparents.
I actually have really wanted Shinobi Ninja Princess more than anything to be a animated series. Like when I see it in my head, I don't see it as a live action too much. I guess that's why I haven't thought of it as a
with live people.
Yeah, with live people. You know what I mean? I've always thought of it being like an anime. Like you would see, like with the action of like Naruto, something that's even like anime,
like Avatar,
the last Airbender. Yeah.
That didn't have a live action movie. I don't know what you're talking about.
No,
not that live action.
We're talking about the animation.
The animated.
The animation.
Yeah, we're talking about the animated series. Something that looked like that. Oh my gosh, that we don't want to go down that road of that.
Soka.
Soka.
Name is Qatar.
Sorry.
Okay, we're not gonna do that. We're not going there.
I agree, though. I think that would lend itself very well to an Avatar style.
I'm really
animation.
I'm really big into that. Like they've got some really good they got 2D animation that's actually helped out with 3D graphics, so that the 2D is a lot smoother.
Yeah.
And I'm really into that too. I really like that because the cinematic feel of that is actually
what
I'm trying to go for.
So, are you talking about Demon Slayer?
Like Demon Slayer. Demon Slayer. Oh my gosh, man, it's beautiful.
Demon Slayer. It's not all ages because it's gory, but the
animation in it is
beautiful.
Beautiful. I mean, and the line weights, the illustration is consistent.
The colors are vibrant
because they're using 2D animation, but it's helped out with 3D movements.
Yeah,
it's really really awesome. It's stuff like that. The new stuff that they're doing, like with Castlevania, they even did this with Voltron.
Beautiful.
The later episodes of Young Justice were like this too.
Yeah.
Yep.
So yeah, I'm anything that looks like that. That's what I see in my head when I'm drawing this stuff.
I could see that. So like Netflix needs to give you guys a call.
Yes.
Y'all want
Let's put this out into the world. Come on.
We will not oppose you.
Yes. Let's
Y'all
put that
wanna-
out.
Universe,
Let's get it out
listen,
there.
we
Tweet
need it.
that, tweet it.
Yeah.
You know, if someone whose cousin is their CEO over there, you know, write to them.
Let's put that energy out there. You know.
Yes.
You know, me and Anakin are also working on a book too. So
yeah, finally,
you know, we got a universe. We got a universe of stuff.
They've been talking about it forever, but they actually had a moment and sat down about a month ago.
I got the Bible
to
together.
do the pitch Bible. So the characters are
set
in, they're drawn down,
and the issues,
what they're about.
The first we sat down, came up with the first story arc and all the characters that's going to appear in it and all that kind of stuff. So we put into work in during COVID,
and it's just them two. Like, I'll probably be in the colors, but I'm not going to know anything about the story until it's passed on to me. So
yeah, it's a personal story. It's a personal story. I
don't need to know y'all little.
Well, y'all got sketch cards. Y'all got the sketch cards. Y'all do sketch cards, and then we got the story.
Okay.
Which I love your sketch cards with Anakin, Janet. Like I love those.
You.
See?
Oh.
You want to talk about those for a minute? For anyone who doesn't know about those?
Yeah. So I do I have the sketch cards right there, or did you pack them up?
I didn't pack them.
Okay. So like a few years ago when before he started going into school, he was like maybe 4 or 5. We would always bring him to conventions when he was like old enough to kind of occupy himself and not be carried around, and also know not to run away. He got in the worst trouble, by the way, like when he was like 3 at Superman Celebration. But
oh man, he got
my gosh,
got in the worst trouble. Superman.
He just kept running down the street.
Ran
I'm like,
into the
no,
crowd.
don't do that.
I mean, saw Green Arrow went crazy. Green Arrow ran straight into the crowd. I was like, where are you going?
But so when we were at conventions, he would like fidget and be bored, and I was like, do you want to do something with us? And he would he would watch both of us do things like sketch or draw or color, and kids, if they see their parents do it, they're just like, well, anyone can do this. I can do this. And then he actually tried doing it, and he got mad because it wasn't what he was looking at when we were doing it. So I was like, all right, you're going to be involved. I'm going to draw these cute little people, these cute little characters, and you're going to color them. And because watercolors was the easiest, quickest thing for him to do. Usually like he's gotten way more sophisticated, and like
he really has, watching them evolve.
So his first stuff would be like maybe 2 colors. It would be like
splooshes.
Yeah, blue and then red, and then it would like kind of like gradient among itself because of the watercolors blending.
But I love that look. It was gorgeous.
Oh, thank you. But
I love this too, but
it had like a little kid charm to it, Like, hey, a little kid really did this. A little kid touched these and helped his mom create them. But like it was quick and easy for him, and it kept him busy, and it also put money in his pocket for toys because we would sell them, and he'd immediately turn to the booth right next to us.
We made no profit off of these.
Who was selling toys, and he'd just come home with a gang load of toys off of the sketch cards that we did. But yeah, we've continued this. I actually have to later on tonight get him to color some more. Like he's gotten into like video games and shows that we probably aren't familiar with, and he tells us what he wants us to draw so he could watercolor them.
I love it.
And then
big thing is Genshin Impact, man.
Yeah, there's a free online game that he's been playing pretty hard for like 2 or 3 months called Genshin Impact, which has a lot of beautiful detailed characters. So He has to color those. But this is a good way for him to like understand like how we do our art family thing. It also teaches him that this is a way you earn money. You know, I'm still working on the saving part.
Man, the saving part is just
earning money. He got it. The saving part, we're working on that.
Yeah,
yeah, I'm still working on that too.
He's gotten really good about like he'll sell one and then he'll make two, but he'll make two of them so that they go together like puzzle cards, and then he'll try to do the upsell. So he'll go like, oh
my
yeah,
gosh,
you know this one. Somebody come up and be like, oh, I really like that Goku you drew.
Yeah.
And he'll go, well, this Goku goes with this Chi-Chi over here that I drew.
Nice.
And you put them together, so if you get both of them, they are set.
Yeah.
And then
that's beautiful sales tactics.
There in there was like he told me to do this. He was like, draw Team Rocket from Pokemon. So if you see, it's like Jesse and James. Jesse's hair goes down here into James's card, and James's elbow is right there. So it's like you kind of have to buy them together.
That's smart. That is smart thinking.
Yeah.
So he's got the selling part. Now it's the saving part. It's just
a lot of adults that don't have that down either. So it's good that you're working on it. That's good parenting.
True.
I don't have that skill of saving anything because I go out and buy stuff like this.
I mean, you see my shelf behind here? Saving is not my strong suit.
That's
I like
problem.
We just not upstairs in the room.
Oh boy.
Yeah, this is just one of my shelves. That's mostly my Wonder Woman shelf. I dressed it a little bit in honor of Diedrich. So.
Anton has a Power Ranger shelf.
I got a Power Ranger shelf. I got a Star Wars shelf. Dang.
Sorry.
Dang, it hit me. She hit me, y'all. Y'all see that? She hit me.
I saw it. That the evidence will hold up in court.
Wow.
So we're running low on time, but I really want to ask you guys about the Heal the Hood Memphis project. So give us a pitch.
Yeah. Okay. So the Heal the Hood project, the Heal the Hood Foundation is a foundation made specifically to help children be able to learn how to read, have creative outlets, be able to do things like if they're having, it's be able to get them acclimated into business and the arts.
Teach them
life skills as well, life saving, starting their bank accounts.
Right.
Also being able to they
can produce record albums, they can write scripts, produce movies, edit film, music videos, martial arts.
They also are able to it's run by Liddell Beeman. Me and him went to high school together, and
he was our DJ at our wedding.
He was a DJ at our wedding.
He's actually a pastor, preacher.
Yeah, he's a youth minister.
He should have he should have conducted the wedding.
Yeah, he's a youth minister, and he is actually behind and started the Heal the Hood Foundation. Then he brought me on to be able to help run the comic studio part of that, which is helping kids to be able to write comic book scripts, learn how to write comic book scripts, learn how to create logos and
graphic design,
working graphic design, getting a little bit of industry credibility in doing a lot of projects with me personally. Yeah. So
this is just a little side note on the comic studio. Mr. Wade, are you known as Martheus?
Martheus.
I don't call him Martheus.
It's either one.
Anton. Martheus.
I know that's been throwing me that I've been seeing you guys call him.
Well, in the business world, he's Martheus, and personal, it's Anton.
Yeah.
All right.
So I'm married to Anton. I don't know who Martheus is. But a few years ago, he had.
We're losing you too.
Uh-oh. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay.
I've still got him on my screen.
So a few years ago, he had started the comic studio, which was like a Saturday art studio type of class for all ages. Mm-hmm. And there were like there were like young adults, but there were also like teenagers who were in there. They wanted, it was just people who had, like us, they had stories that they wanted to tell in a visual type of form. And Anton was, took them step by step in how to do storyboards and how to do character designs and how to flesh out the universe that their stories were in, and then how to also do the panels, things like that. We took note that there were some kids who actually went to a high school who is not in the area, and the high school actually had, they offered graphic design classes to their students.
Wow.
And we were like shocked because we knew that the schools in our area, and it's not like far, it's like maybe 30 minutes, 45 minutes drive outside of Memphis. We noticed that our schools did not offer that, especially to like a lot of the harder hit neighborhoods.
Urban neighborhoods, things like that didn't have those type of opportunities.
So that's why the comic studio is going to be part of Heal the Hood, so that these kids who would otherwise not even know how to do a copy paste image, you know, or do a logo design, but they know what that is, because everyone knows what a logo is, even if they don't know it's called a logo. It would give them the means to do that, and help with branding or like business identity and things like that for the future.
And then so that is a part of the Heal the Hood Foundation as well. The big thing is that what we're trying to do is we're raising money for the foundation, but we're also building it's a huge youth center essentially around superhero themes. So we've created a superhero team that is specifically based outside of the Hero Empowerment Center, which is the headquarters of the Heal the Hood Foundation. But what we're doing is we're going to actually build the Hero Empowerment Center. They already, the Heal the Hood, we already have the land, and we just are getting ready to break ground.
The architects have already drafted.
The renderings and things like that have already been rendered. Everything is ready to go. We're just trying to gain more funds so that we could go ahead and break ground on
the actual building.
On section A of the building. So
that's exciting.
Yeah, so our studio, the MAW Productions studio, will be housed there eventually, and that's where we're going to be doing our graphic design. I started a ad agency that I'm running now. So my ad agency, along with the comic book part of that, will be inside the comic studio as well as teaching classes and stuff that I'll be starting back up here pretty soon. So all of that stuff is going to be there. So all the support, we say all that to say any support that anybody can be able to give.
Tweet it.
Please tweet it.
If you have a cousin that's a millionaire and would like a worthy cause,
we're taking donations. You can go to the heroempowermentcenter.org, and that's where you can go and find out about the Hero Empowerment Center itself, or you can go to the Heal the Hood Foundation.org and be able to find out about the Heal the Hood Foundation there as well.
Oh, nice. Thank you.
Yep. Here is.
Oh, cool. There we go.
Here we go. So this is the Heal the Hood website.
And we've got like a lot of partners, you know. That's the comic book. That's actually the comic book characters and stuff, and our paraphernalia,
Evolution Comics,
apparel that we have. That's my friend Liddell Beeman right there, who is we have
behind the text.
Yeah, right there. And you can see back behind there is our banners and stuff like that. Me and Liddell are really good friends. He's a good guy. Very good guy. And we've been working hard to be able to help kids, especially him. He's been doing this for a long time. He's actually been a part of like gang intervention. So they would bring him into a school to
Oh,
talk
wow.
down to gangs that are about to fight, you know, things
Mhm.
like that.
Wow.
So yeah, you
Mhm.
know,
Yeah,
It's
Okay.
good stuff.
he's got a
Yeah.
powerful position doing what he does, in that it's really changed. He's a life changer. He really is. He's a life changer and a life saver by the work that he does. And so
Yeah.
we can all be appreciative of him. You know,
Also,
and starting out with that one little area of town, though, you know, you say it's a little area, but it's a big area. But you start with that one little area of town and start fixing things there. Then it goes to the next, and then the next, and then the next areas of the town, and it helps a lot of people. It's like the ripple in water, you know.
right. So this is Heal the Hood.
Yes.
hmemphis.org. Yeah.
Yep.
And if anyone wants to find you all, this is your website.
That's
Yes.
you can go there, and that's where we'll have our books on sale.
If you're on Instagram, look up Toshigawa Universe.
Look up Toshigawa Universe on Instagram or Facebook or anything like that. Yeah, don't forget to say
Look up Muley the Mule too.
Yeah, Muley the Mule as well.
Muley the Mule, yes.
MuleyTheMule.com, yes.
Yeah, Kevin, I meant to ask you more questions about Muley. We're running so low on time. Muley's awesome.
No, that's okay.
It's Janet's fault.
It is not Janet's fault.
Good job, Missy.
Yeah. Yeah. So
So
but,
yeah, and with all of that, of course, Muley's best friends are my best friends, and so it's just everything that we do, everything. It's a family, it's a thing together, you know, and it's always fun.
Y'all are good people, obviously. I think so. Anyways, like.
Well, thank you. We appreciate you, and I love the costume that you put on for us.
I know, right?
And also that the headphones work with it. You know, it's the right color.
I know.
Awesome.
I did not.
It matches.
It just that's a happy accident.
Say that you got them especially for us because that's impressive. Just
I did.
Lie to us. Lie.
I got them especially for you. Feel special. And yeah, you've told us where you can find us. Is there anything else you want people to know?
That you know, I will say this, like, and I'm going to be quick. I'm promise I'm going to be quick. But the I will say that, like, last year, everybody got hit with COVID, right? So everybody was you know, messed up from it. A lot of other people worse than some. I used to have a job in baseball. I loved that job in baseball, right? So and it was keeping us afloat. But I lost it, you know, because of all this.
No baseball games.
No baseball games. That means no need for a graphic designer to be able to do, you know, advertising and stuff like that. And I say all that to say that, you know, no matter what happens or has happened in all of this, you know, hold tight to the people that you love. Hold tight to your friends. Hold tight to your creativity and your ability to be able to pull through. It hasn't been. There's a lot of personal stuff that's happened. It hasn't been very, very easy. But at the same time, you know, I've been able to rely on Janet. I've been able to rely on Kevin. And
Anakin sometimes.
Anakin sometimes. And what we've been able to do is be able to pull together and still create and still be able to, you know, collectively find a way to do things. I've been able to start a business out of all this.
Uh-oh.
Oops. Well, he has. He started his own business after all of this came down. You know, need finds necessity. Necessity finds you trudging forward, and you just don't stop. You keep going and never give up, ever. And you know, that's what we do together, and we push each other, we pull each other along because we think that that's very important. And outside of that, the only other thing I would have to add is just to say, support your artists, support your writers, support your creators, because without the convention last year, a lot of money did go to the sidelines, you know, because we weren't making it the way that we did before when there were conventions and festivals. So get online, check out your artists, support them, buy from them. read their work, share it, all of that. I think that's important, and I think that'll help keep all of us in a working position, which we all need.
Great. Okay, he's back. You guys are
Yay.
back.
His inspirational message
My
killed everything.
inspirational message. Anyway, like I was going to say,
You
y'all be
said
good.
short.
I said short. Okay. Hold tight to your friends. Be good. Keep at whatever you're doing, and don't stop just because times get hard. That's all I wanted to say. Okay, dang.
Hey, and you know what's funny is after you lost the screen, that's kind of exactly what I said a little bit.
Yep, Kevin
I
picked
just
up
jumped
right
in to help
finish
finish.
your
Really?
sentence.
Thank you, Kevin. See, that's why.
I got your back, man.
See, that's what I'm saying. Fist pump.
They punching each other.
But yeah, that's pretty much it. That's all.
All right, Janet, you and I can high five and not punch each other.
She left you hanging, Kelly.
She did. I'm a little
You
sad.
said you didn't high five.
Oh, I didn't hear.
Well, too late now.
No, it glitched. I was like, what? What happened?
See,
I heard my name. Wow.
horrible.
Wow. Yep, you left me hanging.
Horrible. See what happens? See
What happened to girl power solidarity? I don't know.
I don't know.
It's no solidarity.
Kelly, just
roll
join
out
me and
this
Anton in this.
food.
You'll be fine.
Yep. Well, thank you. Thank you, three. This has been very fun. This has been a wonderful start to our weekend. I hope you all are going to be able to tune in for some of the other panels and say hi in the comments.
I got my alarm set to a few panels that are going to be coming up tomorrow, I think.
Yeah, we're going to be heckling.
Yes, do it. Do it.
We're going to be heckling.
Right on. Thank you for having us.
Yeah, speaking of the panels coming up,
here's
our schedule.
Yay.
Yeah, we've got a packed schedule. I am going to have to sleep for a week. So
thank you.
Thank you for
vacation time. All right.
Yes.
Well, next year.
Yeah, we hope to.
Yep. See, I will see you next year in person, and hugs for everyone.
Yay.
Yes.
A definite high five.
I wouldn't even high five her.
High five.
I wouldn't even do it. What I would do is I would come in like this, and she'd do it. I'm like, nah.
Kristen is saying this is a no Statler and Waldorf zone. I love it. I love it. All right. Well, thank you all. I'm going to give my ending spiel, and then we'll be out.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
All right. So tomorrow morning, this is what we have coming up. Let me drop out our comments. And thank you, everyone, for tuning in for our first night. And I just want to thank all the podcasts that are making this possible. We have a lot of podcast people on our team. That's why this show is just going to be awesome. And as we mentioned earlier, we are benefiting the Actors Fund, and I just want to encourage you to give or at least tweet about our sweepstakes. We have some really great prizes, and I'm just going to play this video so you know what the Actors Fund is and why we're supporting them.
This convention is also a fundraiser for the Actors Fund. The Actors Fund fosters stability and resiliency and provides a safety net for performing arts and entertainment professionals over their lifespan. You can support the Actors Fund by following the link below and donating. Every donation also enters you into our sweepstakes and gives you a chance to win these fantastic prizes.
All right. Thank you, everyone. Have a great night, and I'll see you tomorrow.